This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Welcome on into the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the podcast center. Hello, welcome on. What a busy week, especially busy first half of the week with storms. Yes, we're not done with them. I know it stormed all day. I wouldn't say all day on Saturday. It did definitely rain for a good portion of Saturday, which we needed the rainfall for our drought that we've been under for the past 2 to 3 weeks. For some of you, you definitely got more storms than others, and for even a spare few of you, sadly, you even got in on some tornado warnings there from Saturday. But again, we are not done with the storms. We had a little bit of a break yesterday for most of us, but we are back to chances of storms again here for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. All 3 days here for the first half of the work week. If you're looking forward to some dry sunshine and some nice, easy weather where you don't have to worry about storms at all, you have to wait until Thursday. Yes. So, unfortunately, next 3 days are not looking lovely. I will say there are some areas of the ArkLaTex that won't get in on storms today, maybe even tomorrow, too. Wednesday, though, you're definitely getting storms. That's kind of the game plan here for you. For today and tomorrow, it's kind of a maybe whether or not I'll get storms or not. Wednesday, yes, you are getting storms. There's no dodging them. And then Thursday, Friday, and also the weekend coming up, a lot better, where you can ease your mind, ease your body, ease your soul. You can go out for a walk and not be drenched at all randomly. Anyways, so that's what we're focused on the forecast here for the day today. Not only is it chances of storms, but it's also chances of severe weather as well that we're watching out for across the next 3 days here for you. Lots to go over, including another earthquake again that happened this morning. I haven't even gotten to that at all either. It happened in the same location as it did last week. We're going to go over that thoroughly here in just a moment. So let's get to it. Let's get into our full forecast here for the day today. I am pulling up still my graphic situation here for you. There we go. Let's first go over the earthquake here for you. And again, this was incredibly impressive, the fact that this has happened now. Well, technically, we had multiple of them this morning. But this is, man, we've had a span of a couple now, just in the same location. Yeah, that's in Red River Parish again, right in the north end of Coshada. Or you continue to see some of these big earthquakes. I don't want to call them huge, but they're definitely good-sized earthquakes for Louisiana, that is. 3 to 4 magnitude earthquakes. That's pretty much what we had in all 4 of these earthquakes that happened in a span of about 5 minutes early this morning. That all happened in between 4:35 to 4:41 a.m. this morning. So I know it was quite rough already with daylight savings time waking up here this morning, but boy, you got an early wake-up call, especially if you got up for that. There in Red River Parish or anywhere else around there. Got several of you on Facebook and social media that told me that, hey, I definitely felt it. Well, that's probably why. But anyways, let's get to our main stories. I've already talked about this, but we're going to reiterate it probably several times here for you to reemphasize the point of the storms here. For today and tomorrow, you might get in on storms. All right? That's pretty much the emphasis there that I want to get at. Then for Wednesday, you will be getting storms. That's kind of the difference, all right? So Wednesday, I want to treat as like the grand finale, which means after the grand finale happens on Wednesday, you're dry for the rest of the work week and you're dry into the weekend. Weekend plans look good throughout this coming weekend here for the most part. I'll talk more on that a little bit later. But essentially, Wednesday is going to, again, act as a grand finale. Not only is it the last round of storms, it will be like a grand finale in acting as the biggest round of storms coming on through, giving us the greatest chance of storms through the ArkLaTex. So let's go to the current radar because, again, we do have the chance of storms today, which are starting to flare up on the first or top of the radar just a smidge. As you can tell, most of us are dry throughout the ArkLaTex from head to toe, although we did see this cluster roll on through the northern end of the ArkLaTex here for you. It's currently moving up now into Little Rock. Let me go ahead and adjust the camera here for you. Do have some strong to severe thunderstorms rolling up towards Little Rock here at this hour in Arkadelphia. But to be fair, look at where this came from. This came from areas of the northern end of the ArkLaTex. We actually had a severe thunderstorm warning about 2 hours ago across the north end of McCurtain County. And for those of you in Idabel and DeQueen, you got a brief little rain shower up near there from that system. So essentially two different systems that I'm watching out for. We were watching out for that. Thankfully, that's gone, but that could form we could form still a few more spotty storms up near there later on today. Meanwhile, the other group of storms I'm watching out for is on the southern end. You see, not as potent at all. This is not giving us any big thunderstorms by any means, but we're seeing at least some light to maybe moderate rainfall in just a few tiny pockets, essentially scraping the southern edge of the ArkLaTex, up into Milam, up into Sabine Parish, a little bit into Natchitoches Parish as well. This is continuing to move up northbound, but most of them are almost drying out as they're trying to move up northbound, at least here at this hour. That might change a little bit later on into the day today. Overall, it is still a cloudy day throughout the entire ArkLaTex here throughout Monday, which I know doesn't really give you too much of a, hey, let's get Monday done sort of vibe here for you. But that's just how it's going to be here through the first half of the work week. Again, we get even greater chances of storms, mainly moving on into late Tuesday and throughout Wednesday, because unlike the storms that are on us now, which are just incredibly spotty and will be throughout the entirety rest of the day, we'll still go over that future track here in a minute. But I want to tell you first about what's happening here for Tuesday and Wednesday, which is another line of widespread storms. Again, everybody will be hit on Wednesday. I did include Tuesday in on this as well, because technically some of these storms could reach the ArkLaTex late Tuesday night into Wednesday, almost in the overnight hours, heading into Wednesday morning. That will be bringing us, though, a greater chance of severe weather. And I do want to emphasize that last bullet point. We haven't talked too much about temperatures over the last week or so, mainly because they've been consistent in the upper 70s, lower 80s. That's not going to be the case after the rain is gone. We will have it will be brief, but a brief cool stint here for a day or two where we have temperatures dropping a good bit here into the end of this work week. We'll talk on that last. Let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of this system. Again, the future track here for you, which again continues to try and spurt just a few spotty storms, mostly across northwest Louisiana around lunchtime and into the early afternoon here for you. But overall, I think a good bit of us still stay dry here through your Monday here for you. I think the latest storms last is around 6-7 around Natchitoches potentially. And then we completely dry out the entire ArkLaTex for the overnight hours. But once more, into the overnight, clouds are billowing up and continuing to form more and more. And by midday Tuesday, we have more light rain showers, spotty ones at that, mostly happening in the northern end of the ArkLaTex here for tomorrow. I'm kind of going slowly for this future track so you can see the full aspect here for you and see the full outlook over the next 3 days. Because around Tuesday when you're headed home from school, that's when we'll be dealing with storms around Texarkana, but it looks like it's around Texarkana only. I think most of the central and southern portions of the ArkLaTex actually get out of the storm coverage completely there from your Tuesday. So I accidentally went back there just a little bit. But going into Tuesday evening, it looks like we dry out once more. But watch the line coming into Dallas and Fort Worth then for your Tuesday night. That's what you're going to be watching out for severe weather-wise heading into Tuesday overnight in throughout the day on Wednesday. Here's how the timing works as of right now into the ArkLaTex. Again, it starts in the overnight hours. Look at that. That's around 2 to 3 in the morning where you could wake up to some of those strong cells. To be fair, this would only be in areas along and north of the I-30 corridor. But then once you're starting to wake up on Wednesday morning, that's when it starts to become a lot more apparent and a lot more widespread, especially across Texarkana on Wednesday morning. Then through the morning hours, lots of rainfall for Texarkana. Shreveport is still dry up into the middle of the day, but then it looks to quickly hurry on into Shreveport and throughout the bulk of the ArkLaTex looks like for Wednesday afternoon. Now, look at the shades on this future track. That is some deep, dark red showing up in the future track, which indicates lots of heavy rain, certainly. But to me, that's always a bad sign on the future track, meaning a good chance of some severe weather potentially in the works there for the middle of this week. So we'll see what happens out of that system. But as of right now, I could see any severe weather threat happening. And then technically we could have a few leftover storms for Wednesday night. But then once we reach Thursday, even in the morning hours, we are donezo for the rest of the work week. So let's get in on some of the specifics with this system. Again, today it's a low-end threat of getting anything, but technically it is possible that you could see maybe 1 to The smallest chance of getting an isolated tornado possible technically here throughout the day today, but most of the storms, if they're going to give us any chance of severe weather, it's going to be mainly circulated around hail, and most of that's going to be around southwestern Arkansas here for today. In fact, here is the severe weather risk. You see the slight risk there to watch out for. The most potent and severe storms are going to be for Magnolia and Hope a little later on this afternoon, but technically the marginal risk does include the entire bulk of the ArkLaTex. So, again, a low threat of severe weather here for your Monday. And again, we got a severe weather risk with all these storms heading into your Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, this is Tuesday late night into Wednesday. The rest of the severe weather threats ramp up, including the tornado risk as well, which is not high at this point in time, which is good, but I do see a little bit of an increase of a chance of getting a tornadic cell or two. Hey, keep in mind, everything else is still on the table as well. For Tuesday, again, that slight risk is in areas along and north of the I-30 corridor. Now, when they come out for these risks, when the National Weather Service comes out with these risks, this includes early Wednesday morning. So it includes the Tuesday overnight hours heading into Wednesday, which is when probably most of these severe storms are coming on through the region here for you. Then we get into Wednesday, and that's when that slight risk essentially shifts into the rest of the region. Just so you know, I mean, this is about the same severe weather risk that we had with our storms back on Saturday. So it's another separate round of those storms coming on through, essentially, again, between Tuesday late night and throughout Wednesday. Last thing I want to go over before we get to our 7-day forecast, kind of an underlying headline, an underrated headline here for you, is the temperatures. Again, highs still in the lower 80s as they've been now for, honestly, the past week and a half. Much warmer than average. That's still going to continue on Monday and Tuesday at least, but watch highs on Thursday. I know it's very brief because highs do increase very quickly back into the lower 80s in time for the weekend. But on Thursday, one brief day where we actually have much cooler air back in here, where highs are only in the 60s. Also, I'm going to add to that, our mornings getting a lot more on the chilly side of things. Also for both Thursday and Friday morning too. Thursday and Friday morning are likely to feature morning temperatures in the 40s. Sweater weather back, almost a winter-like feel, back for 2 days. Now, it's not going to be heavy coat weather by any means, but I think you get the point. It's just a small chill for 2 mornings and 1 afternoon. Thursday afternoon, there's your highs again, all around the mid-60s, all throughout the ArkLaTex. Here's that full 7-day forecast here for you now. Last graphic I have. Again, just watch out for the 3 days of rain that are ahead for us, especially on Wednesday. Wednesday's that big day to watch out for storms for everybody. Again, you only have the chance of storms, essentially, here for Monday and Tuesday. Then there's the second half of the 7-day forecast, which is completely dry and sunny. Again, morning temperatures down in the 40s on Thursday and Friday morning. That could carry a little bit into Saturday morning, too. But overall, highs go from the 60s on Thursday back up quickly into the lower 80s in time for the weekend. I do have a 20% rain chance on Sunday. That's mainly with a little system of rain that I'm mainly seeing come through on Monday of next week, but that could spill a little bit into Sunday too. We'll see. But as of right now, this weekend still looks a lot better than what last weekend featured, which was still around a widespread storm. So that's what I have for you here for the day today. Again, it's time to stay weather aware, especially leading on into your Wednesday, which features the greatest chance of severe weather and the greatest chance of storms, period, happening in your location throughout the ArkLaTex. All right, that's all I got. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much for joining me on the weather update here for the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I've been meteorologist Evan Thomason. Meteorologist C.J. Cartledge will be joining you for your First Alert Weather Breakdown episode tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10:30 on the whatever you're watching here right now, if it's YouTube or also on our live stream at KSLA.com. Thanks for joining us again. Same time, same place, 10:30 here for you Tuesday. CJ will be with you then. As for me, again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. You have a great rest of your Monday. Be there, be square. Most importantly, stay weather aware here throughout the next 3 days. See ya.